Okay guys, so welcome to just a little update presentation on Pokemon Heaven and Hell. So basically, you remember the stones? Well, fun fact, I didn't announce all of them. I announced the Fusion Stone in part 1 of the Pokemon review, or the Fusion Pokemon, and then then we also added another stone, which may or may not coincide with something we were planning on adding, or are planning on adding. So let's get into this. So, a new stone. A new stone that will change the Pokemon world forever has arrived. The Kaiju Stone. Here's how you obtain it. So, Kaidrion. Defeating Kaidrion gets you the Kaiju Stone, which lets you turn any Pokemon into a powerful Kaiju. Now, actually, this guy and Fuse Cosmim are two unique ones, because actually, instead of the other three, those are kind of like almost tier 1 stones. These are like tier 2, so the Pokemon you get them from are more powerful. This guy has like spikes, like crystals of the Kaiju Stone as spikes, a headdress made of it, and like bits on his shoulder, almost like a porcupine type thing, while still recycling Fuse Cosmim's design. So defeating, although he's still weak, or is he? Actually, we'll get to that later in the presentation. Just know that defeating him gets you the Kaiju Stone, which is yellow, so it kind of fits his design. And then, now what? Now that you've obtained the Kaiju Stone, here are a few of the new Kaiju Pokemon. So, I've just listed out different Pokemon and how they'd be affected by this. So Corroside becomes Samitsu, where basically it's like some sort of almost a rusty Mechagodzilla. So yeah, Mechagodzilla but rusty, and he's still, although these Pokemon still keep their types, except for Nintana, who becomes Cronar. And basically, his Revolution form kind of becomes like this kind of raptor beast with the crown on its head. Now you've got to remember, since Nintana's quite a small Pokemon, this is actually one of the smallest Kaijus. So I feel like it would just make sense. Although, don't scoff at it, because it's still Ghost and Dark. And C-Mark, Shikam. Actually, this design was actually inspired by another kaiju called Kurikion, which is in Colossal Kaiju Combat in Japan, and basically it's like some sort of fat chicken. So I basically kind of took inspiration from that design and like added different things like armor, the salad things, and it looks pretty good. Oh yeah, and unlike Kurikion, this one's actually pretty big, because I mean, this is like an anthropomorphic chicken wearing salad decorations and a chest plate. So obviously it's going to be bigger than Creakeon. Then there's some returning Pokemon which get Kaiju forms. Plus and minus Shuksu and Shukan, respectively. So basically it turns them... I kind of took inspiration from Radicate's design. And just so you know, most of the Pikachu family have these kind of predatorial kaiju designs. So basically they're like predators, they have sharp teeth, like big, like really angry eyes, the plus and minuses, and also like all the different colours on their bodies are almost like paint, like tribal markings. And their tails are kind of like, they're more flexible than Pikachu's. Like, it can kind of warp and move about. and then Gengar, Buiomo. So basically, I didn't need to do much for this. Basically, just make some sort of like evil design, which is pretty easy for Gengar because most people, including the people I was working with in this game, call him the evil Pokemon or the scariest Pokemon. Personally, I think the one we came up with, Nintana's, scarier, but hey. I mean, he's foreboding enough. I mean, Gengar's foreboding enough to get his own area, so yeah, I guess so. So basically, kind of like Nintana, this one's kind of takes his design and makes it scarier. So basically, this is Gengar if he went on all fours and he was like super evil. Like, he has like a thorn crown made of the same purple spikes he has. And he kind of walks around like some sort of stomping beast, like a rhino or something. And unlike Nintana's kaiju form, this is actually quite large. Because A, that one's made of dark matter, not actual flesh. And B, that one's based on Haunter, Gengar's pre-evolution. So yeah. And then also we've got another thing, Kaiju type. On top of Kaiju Pokemon, there's also a Kaiju type. This type doesn't have any moves or a gem, but it makes any Pokemon's moves big and powerful, just like a Kaiju. So basically, if a Pokemon gets transformed into a Kaiju form, not only will they get their regular types, so for example, if we transformed the legendaries into Kaijus, they'd still be electric and fairy and fire and ghost respectively. So, but they would also get Kaiju type, where basically it makes their moves a lot more powerful. Like for example, Lytorus and Grimmitaur have moves called Afterlife and Lost Souls respectively. So basically, usually when they use it, it summons a bunch of ghost Pokemon in their regular forms, like Pikachu, Slowpoke, etc., to try and run through the opponent. But this time, if they use it, the Pokemon will look like their Kaiju forms, adding not only some flair, but also extra power. So yeah, that's just an example. This applies to every move that a Kaiju Pokemon has. And yeah, that about wraps up the presentation. The next presentation will be coming soon. So, anyways, bye.